from grade 5 Duterte, and I was just about to do my performance task on math, science, and English in one video. Can you help me? Great! Let's get going! Here! I have 3 columns that we need to fill out based on our experiments. In the first column, we need to write the materials we used during the experiments. As you can see, I already filled it out. Now I will just tell you the materials we will use. First on our list is sugar, milk, dish soap, matchsticks, popsicle stick, induction stove, pan, paper, and an empty glass jar. Now, back to our column, we need to fill out the second form if the appearance of the materials divided, multiplied, or lessened. And in the third row, we need to put the reason on how the material changed using familiar words. Now, let's head over to our first experiment, putting sugar in the pan. But first, we need to heat up the induction stove. Hey guys, I think it's starting to melt now. Now guys, what do you think? Did it divide, multiply, or lessen? Now guys, what do you think happened to the sugar? Did it lessen, multiply, or divide? I'll give you 3 seconds to answer. 3, 2, 1. You're correct! It lessened because the heat from the induction stove melted the sugar and some evaporated. Now let's put it in the fork. Are you ready for our next experiment? Great! But for this one, we need the help of a guardian because handling fire can be dangerous. Can you help me, Mom? Come on, let's get going! Now, for this one, we need to light the matchstick and study what happens while it's on fire. Guys, what do you think happened to the matchstick? Did it multiply, divide, or lessen? What's your answer? Correct! It lessened because when the fire was lit, the fire consumed the matchstick. And take note of this. If oxygen and a heat source is present, then a fire will start. But if one of those things are missing, then it won't be able to start. Now, let's write it down. Are you still there? Great! Let's get started on our third experiment. For this, we need paper because what we'll do is that we'll rip the paper and see what happens. We all know that we've ripped paper before, but for this one, we're gonna do it we ripped paper. What do you think happened? Correct! It divided because when we ripped the paper, it was torn up into different shapes and sizes. Now, let's write it down so we don't forget. Now, let's start the fourth experiment. We have to mix milk with dish soap. And let's see what happens to them. Let's get started. That looks awesome. So this is the result. Now, what do you think happened? Did it divide, multiply, or lessen? Correct! It multiplied because when we poured both of them in the container, the amount of liquid in the container doubled. So, let's write it down. Almost done! Stick with me! And now for our final experiment, the breaking of a glass jar. But for our safety, let's just imagine what it looks like if we break the glass jar. Now, what do you think happens? Did it multiply, divide, or lessen? Correct! You're really smart. Now, it divided because when we broke it into pieces, just like the paper, it divided into different sizes. Now, let's write it down so we won't forget. Do you remember the familiar words we used in the third column? Yeah, those are consumed, mixed, ripped, divided, and melted. You can use those words whenever you want to explain something clearly or so that the other person you are talking to can understand what you are telling about. Now that we're all done with my experiments, here's the chart that we filled up. Thanks for helping me with my performance task. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Bye!